Tonight on TBN, the Masters community came together to celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. The annual events included performances, speakers, and workshops. The winter sports season was filled with crazy shots and outstanding results. Hanna Schiciano and Zuckerman bring you the top 10 highlights of the season. On March 5th, the international dinner was held in the dining hall. Students, faculty, and staff prepared meals from across the globe to share with the community. And for the first time since March 2020, the community can walk around the halls maskless. Lexi, Wachen, and Rowan McWhinnie talked to Director of Health Services Sue Adams about the decision to shift to a mask optional policy, as well as to students to get their reactions. All this and more, next.
Good evening, and welcome to Tower Broadcast News. I'm your host, Carol K. Ross.
And I'm Hanna Schiciano, and we're recapping and following the latest news.
On Friday, February 18th, after facing various COVID-related delays, the Masters community finally came together to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in our annual MLK Day. Hanna and I recap the workshop, guest speakers, and presentations of the day. Take a look. Every year during the month of January, the Masters community gathers together to commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and celebrate Black history. This year, the MLK Day events were delayed due to COVID cases arising and health guidances that the DEI department received, and took place on Friday, February 18th. The celebration hosted events ranging from watching and discussing the film A Road to Justice to upper school-led workshops and even a preliminary debate on the legalization of illegal drugs in the United States. Silas Douglas, Associate Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, is ecstatic to have brought back the event in person, even if it was a little late.
I think my favorite part about celebrating MLK Day at Masters was the opportunity to spend the full day talking about difference and why connecting across difference is important. And we got an opportunity to do that in a number of different ways.
This year's theme for the event was Beloved Community, Building Bridges Across Difference, inspired by Dr. King's vision for communities to embrace justice, love, and equality. The day started with all students being gathered in the Fonseca Center with performances like Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem that was sung by Sage Weinstock, a dance performance from Muse, and a series of songs from the Justice Choir, and more. There were also featured speakers at this event. Amy Bass, professor of sports studies at Manhattanville College and author of One Goal, and Andre Robert Lee, the filmmaker of The Road to Justice. In the afternoon, students attended mostly student-led workshops discussing topics such as race, gender, culture, and sexual orientation. Junior Demi Oni attended the History and Politics of Black Hair workshop led by Dr. Roland Davis.
We talked mostly about the stigma around, black hair, like what goes around it, lots of stereotypes people have, and also the struggles lots of black people have faced with having black hair, like many incidents. It's something to be proud of, to have black hair. You should make sure not to make the stereotypes affect you, and just, be proud of your hair, your heritage, whatever your hair means to you, it's yours to do whatever you want with it. So, yeah.
Student Tommy O'Grady attended the Restorative Justice and Abolitionism session led by Sophia Van Beek. He talked a little bit about what he learned.
It has been very useful, and I learned a lot. We talked about how unjust the justice system is, and how we spend $80 billion on prison every year, and still 25% of the world's prison, like people in prison, comes from the U.S. So it makes you wonder, is the justice system really working?
Many students not only found the day extremely interesting, but also very important as Masters continues to work to teach Black history.
I'm definitely really grateful that Masters, takes the time to put a whole day aside to celebrate Martin Luther King and also just, Black history, make sure people understand lots of the importance around Black history and also just Martin Luther King as well, so, yeah. One
of the things that I've learned in being at Masters is any kind of production like this is really a community-wide event, and there are so many hands that were pushing the day through the finish line. There was no way that our office was able to do any of it without all of the hands that worked to contribute and support the day coming through.
This has been Carol K. Ross and Hanna Schiciano for TBN at the Masters School.
Thank you to the Masters community for reflecting and learning from one another. Miriam Emery's Advanced Placement Literature class had the opportunity to perform scenes from Shakespeare's Hamlet. With only about a week to prepare, students blocked, memorized, and organized costumes for their performance in the ET on February 24th. Sabrina Wolfson has the story. During the month of February, Miriam Emery's AP Literature class worked on scenes to perform from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Although the different advanced placement literature classes all read Shakespeare's famous play Hamlet, Emery's class was the only one who performed scenes.
So I've taught Shakespeare every single year since I started teaching, and every single time I've taught it, I've had the opportunity to have students act out scenes, which has been amazing. And I've done that with 9th graders who are new to the school. I've done that with 12th grade AP. And even at other schools, when I taught in public school, I would have students with significant special needs in my classes, and I also always had those students act out parts. So no matter who I've taught, I've done that.
Emery gave students a choice of whether they wanted to write an essay or perform a scene, and every person chose to perform. As such, Emery placed students into groups, giving them different options of scenes to perform throughout the play. Finn Alexander, a student in Emery's class, discussed the scene he was assigned.
What scene did you perform for Hamlet?
I performed 3.1, sometimes referred to as like the closet scene, I think. It's between Hamlet and Ophelia. I was Ophelia. Hamlet kind of starts to berate Ophelia for double-crossing him. Yeah, it's a very emotional scene.
With only about a week and a half to be performance ready, students in this class were challenged with blocking, memorizing, and organizing costumes as quickly as possible. Students were encouraged to put a fun spin on their scenes, such as adding modern-day clothing, jokes, or even singing. Performed on Thursday, February 24th, Miss Emery's AP Literature class took to the recital hall to show off their scenes. Students from various classes came to watch the performances that the students had been rehearsing.
Biggest thing was I gain a lot of respect for actors, but I get to learn like the nuances in my scene and of how each actor portrayed their characters.
Sabrina Wolfson, TBN.
It's always amazing to see what everyone else is learning in their classes. Congratulations to the AP Lit class on an amazing performance. After a hiatus of winter sports competition last year, this season featured some insane moments, with half-court shots, buzzer beaters, and broken records. Hanna Schiciano and Lily Zuckerman break down the top 10 highlights from the winter season.
Good evening, I'm Lily Zuckerman.
And I'm Hanna Schiciano, and here are the top 10 highlights from the winter sports season.
Number 10, the 4-day Nice's Swimming Championships wrapped up on March 3rd. The varsity team had a lot of great results, with many master swimmers placing in the top 10 overall.
Number 9. At the Nice's Indoor Track Championships on February 26th, Aiden Lothian broke the 600-meter school record with a time of 1:26:32, and Camille Smith broke the 300-meter school record with a time of 44:31. Here are some videos from the meet.
Number 8, the Independent School Fencing League Championship took place on February 26th, and the varsity teams placed in every weapon.
Number 7. While the girls' varsity basketball team fell to St. Luke's on February 1st, sophomore Zara Savanto made this buzzer-beater three-pointer to end the game.
Number 6. The varsity fencing team swept their meet on February 18th, winning all weapons for both boys and girls. Here is senior captain Sunny Shi, who won all of her bouts this season.
Number 5. On December 7th, junior Dakota Daniela made this crazy play that got fans in the Masters bleachers up on their feet.
Number 4, on February 9th, junior Corinne Furness broke school and pool records in the 100-yard backstroke with a time of 106.33.
Number 3. On January 28th, the boys' varsity basketball team played Worcester. With 13 seconds left in the fourth quarter, sophomore Adam Bello clinched the 49-48 win with a floater.
Number 2, in the game against Worcester, senior Daniel Medina made a beyond half-court shot to close the first half. Take a look.
And number 1, sophomore Arjun Matan pulled through with a buzzer-beater three-pointer to win the game against Lehman Prep on January 18th.
Let's go, Tozai! Let's go, Tozai! 7, 6.
And those are our top 10 highlights from the winter season.
Congratulations to all the winter athletes on an amazing season. It had been 2 years since students walked the halls maskless, but an email from head of school Laura Danforth last week announced that masters would become mask optional. Lexi, Wachen, and Rowan McWhinnie spoke to Director of Health Services Sue Adams about the decision, as well as others in the community. Take a look.
For the past 2 years, the Master's School has required masks on campus until only recently when Governor Kathy Hochul lifted the mask mandate in New York due to low positivity rates. On Tuesday, March 1st, head of school Laura Danforth sent out a community-wide email regarding the mask policy. Due to Hochul dropping the mask mandate in schools, Danforth has decided to go mask optional. With the new protocols, students can decide whether or not they are comfortable with wearing masks.
After having 5 consecutive weeks of all negative results in the community pool testing, along with the new CDC guidelines, Sue Adams feels confident that this was the right step forward.
We were part of a large group of areas. I think about 70% of people could be mask optional. Now, obviously, we always knew that we were going to allow people to have individual choice about that.
However, there are still members of the community who feel more hesitant about the new guidelines. Librarian Zoe Palmer noted that by removing the protocols, we are putting the community at higher risk of spread.
I think mandates should still be in place. Their cases are not at zero. There are still people who are vulnerable, especially in our community as well, and I think protecting them is more important.
Senior class president Dennis Sadriai noted how it was a comfort to him to have the school back to normal.
It's nice having a sense of normalcy because we finally have our masks off, and I know these 2 years have been quite the blur with us having to wear a mask and go on and off Zoom, so it's kind of nice being back to what it was like beginning of sophomore year for me.
Senior Isaac Leff commented what it's been like to see his peers maskless for the first time in 2 years.
Is it weird seeing other people walk around without a mask in school?
Kind of, because some people I don't actually know what they look like, and then when you see them, it's a little bit like surprising, like, oh, that's what you look like. But for the most part, feels pretty normal.
Though this is a big and exciting step forward, Adams stated that if the positivity rate increases, we may have to go back to past protocols, including masks and pooled testing.
Even with the concerns, many students and faculty are grateful for the sense of normalcy brought back to our campus.
I mean, I haven't seen people's faces in like 2 years, so that's been weird, but it's really nice, and now you can see everyone's smiles.
Lexi, Wachen, and Rowan, McWhinnie, TBN, the Master's School.
It's always refreshing to see us return to a sense of normalcy after such a long time. Remember to be respectful of everyone's decisions, whether they choose to wear a mask or not. And finally tonight, International Dinner returns. The International Club leaders and advisors brought back the well-loved tradition, and students got back into the kitchen to share their culture with the community. TBN's Mariana Gu reports.
The International Club, famous for its inclusion of diverse cultures and ways of bringing in traditions celebrated by different countries to masters, is hosting its annual international dinner for the 2020 school year. After not being able to host dinner last year due to COVID restrictions, club leadership decided to resume the tradition. Sunny Shi, one of the club's leaders, commented on how excited she was to bring back the event and to see students sharing their own cultures with the community.
We have a really great amount of representing countries this year. So like we have Greece and like China, South Korea, Mongolia, like a lot of like more than 10, which is like more diverse than the previous years. We didn't have a chance to have this last year, so most of the returning students I can tell they're really passionate about it. Like they sign up and start to have a conversation about like what they want to cook and how they want to cook it. And so yeah, I feel this year's international dinner is definitely going to be a really good event.
Having students make food from their own country is a long-held tradition after international dinner. Although some members in our community are from different countries, the mix and mingle of cultures pull closer a distance between students and create a sense of belongingness.
Hi everyone, my name is Luca Lawrence. I'm currently a junior here, and the country that I'm going to be representing today is Sri Lanka. So the dish that we're cooking is a native Sri Lankan dish. It's known as chicken curry. So in chicken curry, the main ingredients are chicken, curry powder, and onions, and a lot of stuff, but those are main ingredients, and yeah.
So today I'm making green banana pie, and it's a Dominican dish, but it's made in Dominica a lot. Basically when you take green bananas and you boil them and you mash them together and you add a little bit of cheese and seasonings, and it's kind of like a delicacy. We cook it a lot back home.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm a senior. I'm cooking with Adun, and we're making Thai basil pork and chicken because some people can't eat pork. I don't know too much behind it, but it's a really good dish. It's a really simple dish that everyone makes. It's really, really good. It's just kind of like a household dish. It's one of the easiest ones. And we're gonna fry the pork and we're gonna fry the chicken and just put all the spices in it. Not too spicy because not everyone can handle spice, but yeah.
Me, Emily, and Anju were making tteokbokki. It's like a Korean dish. We have rice cake in there. We could have fish cake in this. In this case, we don't have it. And we mix it with gochujang. It's a spice made out of pepper. And we mix it together, we bake it, and that's how we make it. That's what it is.
There are also musical performances that stretch from the beginning of the dinner to the end of it, such as the K-pop dance cover performed by the co-leadership, instrumental and band performances, and other cultural dances performed by our international students. International Club advisor Robert Fish commented on his love for being able to host international dinner.
This is always one of the highlights of my year, and even some alumni, when they come back to talk to me, like international dinner is one of the things they remember, well after they graduated high school. So I really missed it last year. And something else that's happening this year that's really nice is we have a little bit more participation than usual from students who maybe they're not from abroad, but their parents came from abroad or they have some connection. So we've gradually increased that over the years and have a little more this year, which is really great, so that more people are feeling like connected, that it's a real community.
Overall, the first international dinner after the pandemic is a monumental success and will continue to promote cultural exchanges among the Masters community. Mariana Gu, TBN, The Masters School.
And that's all we have time for here tonight on Tower Broadcast News. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to Tower Broadcast News on YouTube and follow @Masters Tower on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Hanna Schiciano.
And I'm Carol K. Ross. And from all of us here on the TBN staff, have a great night.